Savage community, I am off schedule about 2 weeks once again. And who do I hold responsible for that? Anyone else? Anyone else not make me come in here and do my podcast? Again, whatever you think about it, whatever it is or isn't, myself. I gotta hold myself accountable first. Remember this: you cannot hold other people accountable until you hold yourself accountable first. Once you start holding yourself accountable, and people see you living what you say and living what you preach, they're either going to get on board, whatever relationship or arrangement you have with them in life, or they're going to fall back. They're going to fall off. That's just the way it goes. Two things that this fucking society hates: accountability and the truth. Make sure you live both of them the best of your ability. But I ain't going no fucking where. Sorry to disappoint some of you. And for the ones that don't want people like me to go anywhere, no matter how far we get behind, no matter how far off the mark, our deadlines and goals and where we wanted to be at this time, we're still here. And I don't plan on going anywhere. I probably had 3 planned in this amount of time. I think I'm about 2.5, 3 weeks since I did one. Again, trying to get back to 1 a week. Eventually want to get back. I did 2 a week only for a short time. My ultimate goal originally, again, I'm not going to go over that. I'm going to encourage you to go back and listen to past podcasts. In a nutshell, again, I feel like I have to go over this for people that don't know. This is season number 6. Again, criticism, naysayers, negative, whatever it is, it's all still important. It's important. Not that I'm going to pay attention to it, but season 6 of this podcast, every episode has basically been me. That wasn't the plan. If you know, I'm gonna encourage you to go back and listen to past podcasts. This will be my makeshift studio. It's finally coming along. I have a lot of other responsibilities. I have daily life. Part of the reason I get, not an excuse, but I was out of town 3 out of 4 weeks in a row. I hadn't been anywhere in a while. 3 or 4 weeks, or 4 out of 5 weeks. Not that it has to be on weekend. Originally, the podcast was once a week, and I tried a couple years ago. I tried to go to 2 a week. Did that off and on. It ended up averaging out 4 to 6 a month. I think this year I've only averaged 1 or 2 a month. Not where I want to be. I don't plan on slipping any further. Doesn't mean I'm not writing. Doesn't mean I'm not working on material. Doesn't mean I'm not self-educating myself. Doesn't mean I'm not fucking hammering. Doesn't mean I'm not fucking taking action on my life. Fucking promise you that. Part of the reason I get behind is all my responsibilities and my commitments and how hard I train and how hard I grind in life. And again, grinding doesn't always equal money. Most of the time, when you're working on different goals and you have a different path and you go against the status quo and against the grain, most of the time it doesn't equal that. But so yeah, 3 out of 4 weeks or 4 out of 5 weeks. This was the first weekend we were at home in the last month, and I have a lot to do. I don't have made up shit to do. Busy work, what I call, which I fucking hate busy work. I have legitimate commitments and priorities, and I almost put it off again today. And so season 6 of this podcast, Savage Mind Podcast, in a nutshell, been off Spotify for since last July. You can find season 1 from the very first episode in 2020, right before COVID hit. February 2020 to July 2024, you can find on Spotify and Apple Play. And some of both episodes you can find on YouTube. From July, about mid-July 2024 to current, you will only find the episodes on YouTube. And again, all the years I've been doing this podcast by myself is not to hear myself talk, and that I think that what I have to say is more important than others. Contrary to popular belief, if we know each other, probably what you're thinking. I hope every guest that originally wanted to come on, no matter how long it's took, I hope they still come on. If not, there's still plenty of people I know that's willing to come on and cover a variety of different subjects. Spotify changed their criteria a couple of times, and I wasn't willing to do it the second or third time, which made me lose some subscriptions and lose some viewers. And the plan was to be on all platforms. So, for example, whatever viewers I have here on YouTube, maybe I don't have the same viewers on Spotify and Apple Play. Maybe some I have on all of them. The idea is when I'm, hopefully by July, when I've been off Spotify and Apple Play and some other platforms, there's some other platforms, which I'm very grateful for. When I've been off for close to a year, that I will be back on, if not shortly after. And I can be on all of those networks equally, because some people like viewing this like this. Some people like listening to while they're driving like I do. I listen to a lot of podcasts and audiobooks and study material while I'm driving, because I drive a lot for my full-time job. So whatever works best for the individual. Again, I continue to do my podcast and everything else I do because I believe in it. Like I tell people sometimes I don't always believe in myself. I think that we all go through that, no matter how confident we are. Again, cockiness and confidence, two different things. I'm a confident man, not a cocky man. There's a difference. We have a lot of false positivity in this world. We have a lot of fake confidence that's usually around material things and title and position and authority, popularity. If those things are ripped from you, either one or all of those things, sometimes your confidence goes along with it. People like myself, and there's a small percentage of us, our confidence is not tied to any of those things. We know who the fuck we are. We're very aware of it. And whatever position we're in, or whatever material things or title or authority or positions we have or don't have, we're still the same motherfucker. Please understand that. And that bothers people. It bothers people. So I tell people occasionally, I don't always believe in myself. Sometimes we second guess ourselves and question ourselves, but I believe in what I'm doing. No matter how long it takes, the time will pass away. I can either do it or not do it. So this podcast, I'm about, what's the day, the 27th. I'm about over 20 days done with this. I plan to do it about 5 days after it. Just finished my next ultra, 50. There's different distances on here. I did the 50 mile. Again, I've never done this race, this challenge. I don't call it a race. This is my first time doing it. It was about my 5th time at this distance. This was, the reason they had the alligator on there, it was a Brazos Bend, Texas, at a state park. It was a lot of swamp, and it was a lot of alligators. I didn't see any come out of the water, but you could definitely see them swimming around, and you could see them, you could hear them. And when we started, the first hour and a half or whatever it was it's dark. You need your headlamp, and super fucking humid. So you have your headlamp, and just like anything, when you have your lights outside, your porch lights in the backyard, whatever it is, bugs get all around. Bugs were fucking just everywhere for the first hour and a half, and I could hear those gators growling in the water. And even though you had your headlamp, and other people had their headlamps, if you were wherever you was at in the pack, you could see in front of you. You couldn't see either side of you or behind you. But that's part of the excitement, the journey, and the anxiety, all of it. And each one, for me, I've been running for a long time. I've been doing a lot of things for a lot of years, but as far as these ultra trails, which is the only thing I'm going to do, that and Spartan ultras, If I do any smaller Spartan races again, it's going to be for a different reason. I don't do any distances under ultra. For those of you that don't know, ultra is above a marathon, which is usually 30 miles or higher, 30 miles or more. But I still feel like that I'm green, very much so. If you want to know about my ultra journey and how I started down this for mental, not even anything to do with physical health, mental health, any physical attributes are just extra, but it's 100% mental. That's exactly what it's about for me anyway. I encourage you to go back and listen to some past podcasts, reach out to me. A lot of times I go over the same things. For those of you that hear it, I apologize because I never know who's tuning in, and it has a lot to do with me being behind. My fault. So I'll break it down a little bit for those that care, and if you don't, you can tune out. If you listen, I'm not telling anybody to be an ultra runner or ultra trail runner, ultra endurance athlete of any kind. It's not. It's for outliers. It's not for everyone. There's less than 1% of the world that competes in these things, and let me be clear about this before I go any further. I am not good at these things. People say, why? And I said, I have grit. I have toughness. I don't mind saying that because I do. If you know me, you know that to be true. I'm relentless about a lot of things. I can push myself when I'm in a significant amount of pain. When my body is giving out on me and my mind's telling me why the fuck am I still doing this and why don't I quit? Today is what I call a productive day. Let me go back to this. Productive weekend, but let's just take today. Start incorporating sprints again. Not sprints, distance. Sprint like sprints on the track. I'm going to keep quiet about this. When I was younger, I was a sprinter. I hated distance. I always seen myself as a sprinter. Reasonably above average as a teenager and a young man. I'm 50 years old. I don't have no delusion about what I can and can't do. And then in other ways, I'm very delusional about what I think I can accomplish. This is what I incorporated in my workouts when I'm in between ultras before it's really heavy into ultra training. And I'm about a month out from my next one, but my next one is not as long. It's not a 50 miler. It's just a 50K, which is it's part of my ambassadorship, the ambassador run for Alter Ego. I've talked about that, and I'll do a podcast on that when I'm done too. It's a virtual thing. It's cool for everyone who's an ambassador for Alter Ego, which is a running organization out of Florida. They asked me to be ambassador this year, whatever you think that means or whatever it doesn't mean. But I was grateful. They sent me a lot of cool gear. I try to tag them in many posts as I can. Their hats are the best hats I've ever had in my fucking life. I got about 5 of them. They do a great ambassador run, and I didn't know that. It was about 2 months ago I signed up, and it's a virtual. You can do it from anywhere, but you have to do it. You got a certain window that you have to do it. I even asked, could I do more? But the highest it went up to was an ultra, a 50K ultra, 5K, 10K, half marathon, and ultra was the cutoff. So of course I signed up for the ultra, and you do it from anywhere, and you use your smartwatches and your app, and they send you some cool gear and stuff like that. I'm not again, no matter what I do, I'm not in competition with anyone, but I'll talk about that after it's completed, which will be about a month from now. I think it's like exactly a month from this week. Then after that, I have about a 3-month gap to train for what I'm going to do next, and I'm going to talk about that right now. Again, this is something I'm going after, and I'll never stop. It'll be the longest distances I've ever done. So let me talk about this. This ultra. I didn't realize I was 2.5 years almost exactly out, not from doing anything, but from doing this distance. I didn't realize that till about halfway, a little bit over halfway through the ultra, when your mind starts wandering, you start, pain starts setting in for me anyway, and I start I'm deep into thought. Like David Goggins calls it the cookie jar. I start thinking about shit. I'm real big about time and dates. Anybody that knows me knows I'm very specific. I can remember a lot of stuff that people think I can't remember. I don't know why my mind works like that. My ability to read people, my intuition is. I just posted it the other day. There's a lot of skills I don't have, and I don't pretend to have. I'm not a one-upper guy. Most men are one-uppers. It doesn't matter what it is, even if it's something that they know a little bit about or nothing about, they'll still try to one-up. That's not who I am. And most of the shit that I don't have a skill at is because I don't give a fuck. Even if it was beneficial to me when I was younger, if I'm not interested in it now, even if it's beneficial to me, I still don't give a fuck. But I give credit where credit's due. I'm just not a person who's gonna blow up your fucking ego. I give credit, I give compliments, I give praise, I give support, but I ain't gonna stroke your fucking ego, no matter who you are. And I even know some people personally, nothing to do with running or training or anything. They don't like it because we won't stroke their ego. Everybody around them strokes their ego, and I'm not gonna kiss your ass, brown nose you for some benefit or so I can be seen with you, popularity. You got fucking money, title, any of that shit. That ain't who I am. Ain't never who I'm gonna be, and I don't want nobody to do it to me either. Because when somebody talks like that and they act like that, I don't fucking trust them right away. So that shit's fake. You can give praise and compliments and support and friendship and brotherhood without that bullshit. I don't trust that shit. So yeah, I didn't realize it till I was halfway through it. This last couple of years was the biggest gap I've had since 2021 when I started doing ultra trail runs. And let me say it again, I do ultra expedition challenges, which is usually in remote places, stuff like that. I don't do any road running. I don't sign up for any Dallas Marathon, Boston Marathon, any of that. Most road runners care about their pace a lot. They care about their place. It's a lot of pressure, a lot of anxiety. The reason I do it is for the opposite of those reasons. I do it to alleviate and to keep my anxiety, to keep my depression under control. I don't need to be competing with anybody, nor do I care. So I was beating myself up at first, and then I thought, I haven't done this distance in 30 months. So this was the 4th or 5th time at this distance for me, and it was my 13th ultra. So for me, 13th ultra in 4 years was between 30, and some of it's virtual stuff. Doesn't matter, I still did the distance. A rule of thumb, no matter, this is why it's important not to compete and compare yourself. A rule of thumb is, no matter how long it takes you, you're still covering the same amount of distance. It just took you longer. And it's different for everybody. You have to understand the mental benefits of this and how you unpack so much out there and gain so many tools. There's compartments of tools for life, and I couldn't see my life not doing it. I always knew that the distance running was helping me, but I didn't know until I started doing this. So I didn't realize the last couple of years I had stayed at the 50K. I didn't realize that. I had the last year and a half, 2 years, I had canceled about 5 to 7 ultras. Yes, and I said it in the past. I have said it in past podcasts, directly related to money. It was. Why? Virtual ones are like this. Alter Ego one is great because it's not expensive and you can do it from anywhere. But I can't do that for everything. There's certain things I look up that fit the criteria for what I need, and this was one of them. Not a lot of elevation, hardly any elevation, but it's still brutal. It still was brutal for me. So I had set my goal at under 13 hours. Again, maybe if it's a road. I mean, I've done 50K ultras and stuff, and I've shaved off hours. But this distance that I've done about 4 times, it's been different terrain every time. So we got out. When I say money, for me, if I go do something like this, and it was just say 300 miles where I had to go, 275, 300 miles. We live in Texas. Everything's a drive. That ain't shit up here. 4 hours or so. I mean, this is a place I'm going to tomorrow. Up close to the place I'm going to tomorrow for work. But I never had been there. On most all ultras, packet pickup is the day before. It's best. You can get it that morning, but you got to get there super fucking early because most ultras, the ones I did, and most of the ones I look into, you got to be there and check in around 5:30 in the morning. Usually the gun goes off about 6. The reason being is so long. I look at different criteria. I look at what is the cutoff time, what is the terrain, and I did a podcast on it a couple years ago. I had my first DNF, which is did not finish in the canyon race, Apollo Duro Caprock Canyon in Texas. Hella elevation. I knew it was going to be tough terrain. I knew it was going to be a lot of elevation. I took it on. Anytime you do these things, as far as I'm concerned, you're not going to just get one DNF. There's more coming. I'm not going to go over that in this podcast, but it still was okay. I took myself out of that ultra at about mile, somewhere between 34 and 37 after my second, started my third lap. Because most laps, just like this ultra, are about 17-mile laps. And I still gained a lot of tools from that race. What I would have did different. What were the positive? What was the negatives? Why did I take myself out mentally when I've done more miles than that? Whatever it is. But I have to go back and find that podcast to see what number it was at that time. So this particular one, when I say money, look, we had a hotel room for 2 days. We need to get food, sign up for the race, fuel, keeping it frugal. And of course, we eat the breakfast at the hotel if they offer that. A lot of times we share a meal. I'm not ashamed of any of that stuff. I take my own stuff, take my own cooler. Still be a $500 to $700 weekend, easy. So again, that's where support comes in. I mean, I do this and I preach a lot about mental health, and I think if more people they don't have to do ultras, but if they did things like this, they'd be not talking to a psychiatrist, they wouldn't be talking to a shrink or a counselor, and they wouldn't fucking be on popping pills and on medication. But that's for another podcast. But it started about 6 a.m. It did start at 6 a.m. When I start, I always don't worry about. Thing about trail ultras, walking is the plan from the beginning. It's not just running. It's walking, hiking, jogging. It's sometimes your power walk is more than whatever fucking little trot you can muster up. So I knew my plan. I knew my goal. Then about halfway through it, when I knew I wasn't going to make that goal, I said, why am I so far off? Because my first lap went well. I couldn't have did it more specifically when I told my wife, I'll be through here at this time. To the minute, I was right there. At that point, there's 3 laps in this one. Each lap was a little over right at 17 miles and some change. I think when I was done, I was right at 51 miles. I didn't go off course any this time. That's what I did in the canyon race. I went off course 4 or 5 times. The way it was flagged, the way it was marked, I missed some turns and stuff a couple of years ago. But anyway, and I tell her at that point, each time I'm gonna lose. For me, I'm gonna lose between 30 minutes and an hour. 30 to 45 minutes is usually what I tell her. I'm gonna go down at that point. So my first lap was right on time. And so I realized when I first started doing this, I spent too much time in transition. Some people don't take time in transition. I think the next ultra, not this virtual one coming up, but the next one, I think I'm just gonna keep going. I'm gonna keep stuff in my backpack, have her right there, get a couple things on the run and keep going. I've cut it down, but I still lose about 20 or 30 minutes that way. Not even that much. I think I was first when I was there about 22 minutes. First lap, sandwich, change my socks, change my shirt, unload some stuff out of my water pack. They call it a camel pack. I had my headlamp in there and stuff like that. I didn't think I needed it anymore. I knew I didn't. It was supposed to rain all day. We had thunderstorms. We didn't know if they were going to call the race or not. So I'm about 4 hours into it, excuse me, and there's still no rain, but it's humid. So I changed my shirt, changed my socks, kept my same shoes on, unloaded some stuff out of my backpack. I'm sitting down while I'm doing that. I slam a mini Coke. I drink some liquid IV, sandwich, get some nutrition in me, and take my backpack back out again, but it's a little bit lighter. Second lap, still pretty well. I start struggling. I'm probably about mile 28 to 30. Reasonable amount of struggling. I come in for the finish the second lap. Getting ready to start the third lap. So the third lap will be mile 34 through 50. Some people have already dropped off. Some people's missing at this point. For me, the people in front of me are so far ahead of me, I can't see them. And the people, whoever's behind me, whether it's, I think at this point it might have been about 20 people. So let me just, the difference in these kind of ultras. You might go do Dallas Marathon or Boston or Fort Worth, because I live in Texas, so those are the ones that are local. Be 5,000-6,000 people there. How many ever people? I've done two or three of them years ago. The Dallas is not even called that no more. It's called the BMW or something like that in the Cowtown. This years ago. I haven't done that. There's a lot of people. It's a cool event. All those are cool events, and it's a lot of good energy. That might be what carries people through. It just ain't for me. It's too many people. It fucks with my anxiety. I have social anxiety. Just ain't for me. And plus, I want to be out in nature. I want to, I did one at the beach. I've done one in a canyon. Done one in a state park with swamps and willow trees. And I've done this. I do like to do stuff like that. That's where I want to be. And for example, they had what does this race say? What is that? 5K, 10K, 25K, 50K, 50 mile. Probably 500 people combined on all the races. I think they even said it was a little over 500. Probably about less than 200 on the 50 mile. I think it was like 180 something. 180, 200 people. I have to go back and look. Anyway, you get what I'm saying. Out of that, I think 140 something, 150 finished for whatever reason, whether they've been dropped off, injury, fatigue, dehydration, whatever, they didn't finish. So start third lap. It starts to rain right when I get there to trans. So the first lap, I take I'd say about 22, 23 minutes. I think I'm okay. I'm not kicking back and being overconfident about it. I bought myself a little bit of time. So the hydration, the nutrition, the change the socks, the change the shirt, I think it'll help me. Just the fucking humidity was ridiculous. I mean, it's around a swamp area, stuff like that, so that's perfect environment for gators and stuff like that. Mosquitoes fucking out the ass, man. It was ridiculous. But I love it. Second lap, I think, took me an hour longer. 45 minutes to an hour longer when I came through, struggling, managed to get through that. So I'm at mile 34 when I start that. I take even less time. So the first lap, my transition and break, your chip has to cross the finish line each lap. You start not seeing people for a while. Then that takes me, like I said, 22, 23 minutes. I think the second lap, I took about 13, 14 minutes. That third lap, I came through, I'm hurting pretty bad. My feet have already blistered up, especially my right one. I feel the blisters coming up. I feel my feet throbbing. I feel my hip is hurting. And I grabbed my raincoat because my wife's out there, and she got underneath the pavilion. It started raining pretty good. And we couldn't bitch because it was supposed to start early in the morning and go all fucking day. Long as there was no close lightning. And we heard thunder, but we didn't see no lightning close. So I said, go ahead and give me my rain jacket, stuff like that. Take the headlamp out. She goes, you don't think you'll need it? I said, I'm not going to make my goal today, but I think I'll be back before dark. I was wrong. Even in this, the whole point is I don't do any ultras until the time change in March. I won't do them. I love the time change. I wish we just keep it where it don't get dark till 8 o'clock, you know. About miscalculated. That's part of the journey. That's part of learning. That's part of growing. That's part of all this is gaining these tools and knowledge and experience, so you know what to do another time. So when you start your third lap, that's mile 34. I didn't get 3 or 4 miles into that lap, and I fucking cramped up, and my right leg so bad. If y'all have ever had a Charlie horse, there's some that it hurts, it's uncomfortable, it sucks. And there's some that that shit can ball up, and you feel like you're about to tear a muscle. It was close to that. I managed to rub it out. I sat on. They had some little wooden benches that are there for just along the path. Only a few little benches and stuff built for anybody in the state park. Pouring fucking rain. I got my rain jacket on. I already changed shirts again, changed socks again, and putting that rain jacket on did no fucking good. And it was a Columbia. I don't know. Maybe I was already wet. I kept it on anyway because I had it on, and I didn't feel like taking that off and taking my water pack. I have it strapped right here, right here. I have it hooked right here with my water. I didn't feel like fucking taking it off again. So fuck it. When and if it stops, I'll take it off. And about mile 30, I was about right at mile 38, and it took me 28 minutes to rub that out. I was setting for 28 minutes. Not that I was barely moving at whatever my pace was at that time. It was super slow, but it didn't matter. I was still moving, and I stayed idle for 28 minutes. At that point, I went from not making my own personal goal, because that's what I do, to am I going to finish this? Am I going to get another DNF? Fucks with you. It does. And I hobbled along, and I've had a few miles in there that I made up. I knew what my goal was, the pace I needed to do for my own personal goals, no one else's. And then at that point, you scrap that, and I had to go to what is the pace I need to do consistently to make cutoff time. This particular ultra was 15 hours. You had a 15-hour cutoff time. But some of the other 50K in the lower distance, 50K still a lot, still 30 miles. So 30 miles and some change, they still had the same cutoff time we did. They just started an hour later, so they had like 14 hours. I believe that's right. And I hobbled along. I'd get a little trot every now and then I realized most of my power walk was better than my jog. I had anticipated for her I would be back between 7:30 and 8 o'clock. After that, I told her I'm not going to be back till I should be back shortly after 8. They gave me an hour before cutoff. And I kept going slower. So I knew where every aid station was. By the time I got to, my watch said mile 42. That sounds like you're close. That was probably, for me, my experience up till this point, that was the longest fucking 8 to 10 miles of my fucking life. At that time, the sun had went down on me. It was not super dark, but that was such a dense, thick forest, and it had been raining, and I realized I'm still going to be out here at dark. The people in front of me, I cannot see them anymore. The people behind me, I don't hear them or see them anymore. After I made that last turn at what I thought was the last aid station, it was the second to last aid station, I realized Should have had my headlamp. I should have another, what I call, and I say a rookie, but it's not my first year. It's my fourth year, but I still feel like, God damn. I mean, I had my backpack. I should just left the motherfucker in there, and I didn't. But I have 2 phones on me, and one was going low. At that point, I wasn't real close to the swamps, but the forest is only both sides, probably 10 or 15 feet away from you. You got a dense trail, and it's puddled with water, and you can't see. See, if you're with a pack, like when we started, whether you have a headlamp or not, people's headlamps are giving you some light behind you and in front of you. That wasn't the case at this point. The gap in front of me and the gap behind me, which is a way bigger gap in front of me than behind me. A lot more people finishing already, been finished, than behind me. But I did, because I seen them on the turn at the aid station. I said, that's probably five or six people behind me still. And at this point, I don't know how many people's dropped out. I went back and looked after a few days after the ultra, and they put the results up, how many people didn't complete it. And I've been one of those people, and I might be one of those people again. I don't plan to be, but it's happening. It could happen again. And I was like, fuck, it's dark out here. And I was so beat up. At that point, I had felt my blisters pop. I had rubbed the cramp out, but it still was throbbing. My feet hurt so fucking bad. I can't describe it. So those blisters had popped. I could feel it. I could feel everything callousing up. Shins start hurting, hips hurting, feet feel like they're on fire, and I'm like, if something comes after me out here with the shape I'm in, I can't really put up much of a fight or a challenge. Everything starts going through your fucking head when you're that fucking. That's the point. That's the benefits. That's where the meat's at. That's where the value's at. And I go, this how I'm gonna go out. I'll be out here doing a fucking ultra, and a fucking gator comes after me, a fucking snake. I said, oh shit, I got another phone in my bag. I can still use the flashlight. I just use it for music. So I put one in one hand and one in the other hand and use it for flashlights until one died. Thank God, by the time I got to mile 46, 47, even though I done did that 3 times, I done been around that loop 3 times, still didn't hear nobody, still didn't see any light. Car lights, anything. I thought, when's this motherfucker gonna be over? I cannot wait to get off this fucking trail. She's texting me, checking on me, babe, how far are you out? I know deep down she's not gonna, this was her fear, which was my fear. She knows it's about 8:30 or getting close to it, and I'm 30 minutes away from cutoff. And she'd hate to see me get down to the last couple of miles and not make cutoff. Still believes in me. Still supporting me, never doubts me. I'm doubting myself for about the last 2 or 3 fucking hours. About mile 47, I see fucking lights, and I see that last aid station. I see people leaving. Fuck. Then I get to mile 50, and all of a sudden 50.3, 50.5, 50.6. I'm like, I yelled it out. When is this motherfucker over? And I already been down this same trail, man. I can't see people. And all of a sudden I see that fucking finish line. And I had originally told her a few hours before that, let's hang out, let's sit in the lawn chairs, drink a few beers. What I always do, no matter what it is, I sit in the pain for a while. Whatever it is in life, people, it sucks. Don't run from it. Sit in that pain. Understand it. Whatever it is, sit in it a while. Don't live in it. Don't relish in it, but sit in it for a while. By the time I got done with that, I wanted to get the fuck out of there so fucking bad. I didn't give a fuck. All I wanted to do was get in the fucking truck, get my fucking shoes off, give me something to fucking eat, and hand me a fucking cold beer, and you drive. I finished with like 17 minutes left. That was it. And there was a few people that finished after me. And that was the result. Love-hate relationship, get done. I don't want to see I don't want to see that shit. I don't ever want to be back out here. And I used my recovery. I did my recovery week. 4 days later, I'm like, fuck, I'm ready to go again. I can't wait to I'm not ready to run again, but in my head, I'm like, What's next? So I'm gonna go for now. That was Brazos Bend 50-mile ultra, Brazos Bend, Texas. That's the outcome. I did finish, did complete it. Wasn't what I wanted, but it's done nonetheless. I'm gonna go for now. Any questions? Maybe I'll follow up a little bit later with some more information. And I appreciate y'all tuning in. Y'all stay humble and get savage.